It's our fair part show. It's our fair part show. We all love scratching me, blah, 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 Fred for Joe.
What were you doing before footy?
Tai Chi.
Welcome, sit down, enjoy the Off-Air podcast. My name's Liam Stapleton, I'm the host of the program. Joining me today, Ben Harvey.
I would also say I'm a host. Hello there.
Yeah, but I'm the one who does the intros, so I'm sort of like the main host.
What?
Because I'm like, I set it up, I'm like, he's,
Okay.
I'll
Well,
allow
Ben,
it.
you can do that tomorrow.
I'll let Liam have that.
Okay.
Belle, who's a person that talks sometimes in this podcast. Are you present?
Maybe I don't want to be.
Well, she's here.
See ya.
Will have been too brutal to Belle today.
Yeah, no shit.
Whoa, language.
Sorry.
That's a strike.
I'm here.
Producer Andy.
Present.
Producer Brody.
G'day.
Producer Tom.
What up?
I would say like we're all hosts on air, but this is the particular one. I feel like just purely for the start bit, I host it.
okay,
And you
move
could say
on.
Ben hosts the regular pod because he says, "G'day there, podcast." And he's the voice you hear first.
Actually, is that going to be one of the orders of business, talking about the regular pod?
Oh yeah, had that. Yeah. So like we're having a meeting next week because I think there's been some chat of like.
Oh, we're talking about that.
Well, so here's
I
the
think-
thing. So
no,
I'll
that-
cut to the core of it. So they've been saying, hey, the podcast numbers stink. Like,
Yeah, they're saying you're doing
no
shit.
So since we've gone
They
from
haven't
Adelaide...
quite said that.
Oh, well, I'm paraphrasing. But so since we went from Adelaide to Melbourne, there's been zero growth. Like, the podcast hasn't grown.
it's sort of just stayed the same.
No.
Which is
Nobody
fine because we
cares.
love who listen. We love our listeners who listen to the podcast. That's
Yeah.
great, our podcasters. But we do want to grow it. We want people to listen to this thing. So they had a couple of suggestions. One of them, and I think it is a fair suggestion. I don't like hearing it because I do love doing this. But they said you got to stop calling the podcast
Like weird
random things.
So,
from
for
the
example,
show.
like last week, Belle's telling the story about how her brother, I don't know if you know this, Ben, her brother proposed literally like 2 days after her. So,
Oh,
like,
really?
ruined her.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it. It was like, there was like a dog thing to do. But like a juicier sort of podcast title would be like, Belle's brother ruined her wedding or
Yep.
whatever.
Because if you
But
saw
it's-
that, if you were scrolling
yeah,
through
you're
the
like,
feed,
oh,
you saw
okay.
that, yeah,
or if
juicy.
you like wanted to hear it again, you'd be like, oh, that's that episode where that
Yeah.
happened. But most of the time, we would call it like butter menthols in the coister or something like that. You know what I mean? We'd be like,
So-
kick the lizard's tits
so-
off or something like that. It'd be something. It'd be called something weird.
Here's the compromise we've landed on as a show because I don't want to lose that because I think that's still really funny.
Yes.
But I also want the podcast to grow. So moving forward, we are going to call the title of the podcast more so like what it is or like
Yeah.
some sort of
Yeah.
something that's a bit hookier. But in the body of the podcast, we will still put quote
In
of
the
the day.
Quote of
description.
the Even
Can
like
you
this
call
week
it-
alone, it's like the Euros was Anastasia. I hope someone gets 619. We're gonna shave you down. I'm like on the show. I don't even know what happened on those days. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I can see
Yeah.
why
Yep.
that is probably a little bit of a hurdle.
Yep.
So
that-
in the pod episode description, it'll
Yep.
have the list, and then we'll have like pod quote.
Quote of the day, I
And
think.
So I think that's like a way of just,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
So then we're still
Alright.
you're keeping
Yep.
everyone happy.
So
there.
if you've noticed that changing moving forward, that's why.
So what's today's called, and what's the pod quote?
I wasn't quite ready to let go just yet. So it's
One
just
more for the road.
it's just bells made of.
Oh.
So that'll be the last time we do that.
No, but that's not a
That's
funny
sort of
quote
still.
from the pod.
That's sort of
kinda
still.
works.
It's sort of half.
No, it's not.
Well, it's a funny quote that we were saying, and it also sort of.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another one, order of business that I have, if I may. Did anyone see Jack Cromwell's post in the Alpha Squad?
Which one was that?
Is Jack the guy who talks about me saying, "Do you know what I mean?"
Yes.
Yeah. So that was on and off air podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
um,
Because he's done a stats breakdown.
Yeah. He gave us some stats. Yeah.
Because you do say, you know what I mean, a fair bit.
I listened to an episode this week because I don't often listen, but sometimes I'm just like, oh, yeah, just see how it's sort of sounding.
Self-analysis, yep.
And I said it's. I think on Monday's show, I heard myself say it like 3 times.
He's
The
got you.
first, like,
He's
10
got,
you
he's got you
said it
down.
a
He's got
lot
you down for
today.
4.
So yeah, there must have been another one in there. But
So
I,
he's
I was sort
fully-
of doing it. I think it was when we were talking about the sleepover. I really noticed I was saying it a few times because we were talking about wrestling.
Yeah. You know what I
then-
mean? You do say it.
I
You
was
know what I
like-
mean? And you
it's
twist your
all-
body when you say
You
Oh,
said
it.
it
do you know what I
today,
mean?
and I was conscious of
It's
it.
almost like it's a sort of, it's a connecting.
Yep.
I'll
I
try
know
and cut
what
it
you
out.
mean.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. He's given a breakdown, though, quickly. I thought this was interesting. I like to reward people who do hard work. So Jack Cromwell has done the week breakdown of how many times Liam said, you know what I mean? I'll just go straight to the total rather than each day's breakdown.
Is this last week?
This was last week, I
Yeah.
believe.
We've heard all this. He did it himself.
No.
The breakdown?
He was on. He got the plinth on Friday, and
He
launched.
but
He
he's
Yeah, but
launched
posted
did
into
the
it.
breakdown.
yeah, I don't think it was that one.
He
It
said
was a
how many
different
times I
one.
said it on Willosophy and all that
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, bro.
Did
Don't
you
mind neither.
see?
Why
did you
did no one stop me sooner?
Well, I thought it was a new one.
You were on a roll.
Did you flag anyone about like this?
Well, no, I mean, it was when I started talking about, you know what I mean? You should say we've already talked about that.
Oh, I mean, if you check
we-
the audio, I did say
then
Yeah,
that.
I
you
started
did.
trying to give the breakdown.
Yeah, and you were.
And
it was like a
Bell-
rhino.
Bell,
It was like a rhino pulling forward.
Not to call you out, Bell, but I did say I want to talk about this, and you were like, "Oh yeah."
Why?
Remember?
Well, why
When
would
did you say that?
Actually,
in the
I
boardroom.
saw something in a boardroom where you leaned to Bell and said, "Don't show Liam, but like we should
That's
talk about
that.
this."
That's right. That's
so
that.
that
So
was
there's
your
proof.
moment.
And you were like,
No,
"Yeah."
no, I thought it was I thought that was a new, updated one that had like newer stats.
But you
Like,
didn't,
he's
you
done
didn't
it.
say. Oh, you know, you did that last week. Is this a
I,
new
I,
one?
I stupidly assumed that Ben had listened to the off-air pod.
Feels
and
like
was doing
the
an
show's
update.
falling apart. Here.
I don't know. Did you see
Well,
Adrian's?
this is what happens when people are on paternity leave.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
out, they're
it's
out of the
your
loop.
fault you had a
They're out of the
kid.
loop on things.
Did you see Adrian's post about the narwhal?
No.
Very good. He said Quinky Dinky Tuesday. He was reading a kid's book to his kid, and there's a guess the
There's a
animal under the
narwhal.
sea is a narwhal.
Would you look at that? That's a narwhal.
Okay, any other order of business?
Yes, Ben said something hella funny. I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but
It was definitely 100% on purpose.
okay. Yeah, okay.
I think it's a Ben move.
No,
where he
it was
saying
a-
something.
Yeah, it's just a word that came out.
I
It's
said
funny.
what I knew would be funny because Andy sometimes says this
It's
word.
caramel.
It's essentially
Yeah.
us saying caramel, different word, but it makes me
Have you
laugh.
noticed, Brody and Tom? I think that was like a before we were working with you. Have you noticed we say caramel instead of
Yes.
caramel?
And that's
'cause
because
I think it's
Andy-
Americans say like caramel.
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 Well, Andy
Caramel.
just says caramel as caramel.
Caramel.
The
But he also
Americans
says
do.
he says other
But I
words
think
funny.
you say it weirdly, Liam.
What? Caramel.
Oh, before you said caramel. That was weird.
Caramel.
Caramel. But no, so this was me throwing to Jodie and Hazy for their show, and I said a word the way Andy says it, and we all thought it was very funny. Morning, Adelaide. You are on Nova 919 with Ben, Liam, and Bell, and Jodie and Hazy. What's coming up on your program?
Program.
Program.
We've programmed
there you
this.
go.
Program.
That made me laugh. That was the most I laughed today.
Also, worth noting that we are lucky enough to be in the presence of ACRA Award nominated Bell Jackson.
Oh, we're
Guys.
talking about that. Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
And ACRA Award nominated Andy.
Yeah, don't make a fuss about that.
And Brody and Tom and myself and Ben, because we were all involved in a bit that is up for best comedy bit.
So the Acras, if you don't know, the Acras are the radio's version of the Logies.
Yeah, but shitter.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
it's not broadcast anywhere.
No.
Well, true.
No.
Another analogy that I gave, just for my own sanity, was like, for me, the Acras are like the Brownlow,
Yeah.
and the ratings are like the Premiership.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
you could never win an ACRA in your life, but if you're winning the ratings, you're all right.
Who cares?
That's
Yeah.
it.
Well-
Or you could kind of do
But
neither. Like
if you-
maybe us
but
this year.
if you win an Acra, it is a very nice feeling.
It's
Yeah.
a nice
So
feeling.
the ACRAs are middle of October, and so I'm up for best newcomer on air, up against people who will definitely win. And
Oh,
Andy,
don't,
Now that you said
don't
that, they're
be
definitely
like
gonna win.
that.
it's Tom. Let's be honest, like, come on. Andy is up for best producer.
Well done, sir.
And then best comedy segment we are up for with the Andy going into my bedroom bit.
Now, I thought we could go through the other nominees for best new talent on air, and we can pick who we think will win the category.
Oh yeah, No,
Yeah,
I'm
go
happy to
on.
do
Who
that.
else? Who else
I'm
is
happy to
up?
do
Who
that.
else is up?
So first on the list is Bell.
Yes.
Yep.
But I think it's in
I-
alphabetical, so that kind of flattened me.
I'm Team Bell. I'm Team Bell.
I reckon there's a case to be made for Bell.
Why? I mean, you're a genuine newcomer.
I don't
it's
think
safe
like,
to say.
I don't. Oh, and this is the other thing about the ACRAs. It's not like publicly voted. Obviously, it's just voted by like bosses in
Yeah,
the industry.
it's not
I think
TV
they'll just
week.
look at it and be like, "Well, no one knows who she is, so hooroo."
No, I would think that makes it better for you. The fact that people in radio go, "Oh, like we can appreciate the work she's doing," rather than
I'd like to hope
if
so.
it became a text-in type thing, then maybe you'd get crunched because there's some big names.
Yeah.
We've
Do
got
you know what I mean?
Brittany and Laura from the Life Uncut are both individually nominated.
Both are in there from the same show.
Yeah.
I think they'll split the vote. Like, I think if you think it's Brittany or Laura, I think they'll split
You're
the
either
vote.
Team Brett or Team Laura.
Well, if you team both, you might.
I know
Their
Sarah's a big
numbers.
fan of their
exactly.
show.
Look at the pod
It's a good
numbers.
show.
Look at all
It's a
that.
very
They,
good show.
they take all that into account.
Or maybe one will get it and then they'll disband because they won't be able to.
Also, my apologies. I thought that was just a podcast, but they do a radio show.
They do.
Yeah, it's like 3 p.m.
Same
show.
time as Chrissy, right?
Yes, on Kiss.
Ah.
It's a show Kate Langbrook used to do, and then they
Yeah,
sort of
right, yeah,
mixed
yeah.
it up.
Loz from Triple M with Ruditz and Loz.
Yep.
In Adelaide.
Yep.
Uh,
Friend of the show, safe to say.
Yep.
I like she's
I like
had she's done really well.
And their ratings are really good.
Ratings
so
are
therefore,
insanely
again,
good.
another person.
It's come from
Way
fresh,
better.
cut from the same cloth
I walked
as
past her at the
B&L.
shops about a year ago, and I was like, "Oh, hey, Loz," and she was like, "Oh, hey, Ben," but she didn't stop and chat, which I was fine with. But I was a little bit like, "Oh no, no
Because
stop
you
and
stopped,
chat."
didn't you?
Yeah, I
you never
stopped.
stopped.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
never stopped.
Grudge.
Yeah.
I had a beer with her and Tomo, like, yeah, I don't know.
He just announced that he's
He's having a
pregnant.
baby.
Yep.
There you go. Bit of radio,
He's not.
bit of radio news for you guys.
You got Lauren. You got Lauren from Jason Lauren.
Yes.
Yep.
I wouldn't say newcomer, right?
It's her third year on air.
Exactly.
So
How does that
How
work?
does that work?
pretty new to
How
the
does
role.
that work?
Once
Andy?
again, not like very nice, like lovely
yeah,
people,
but it's 3 years on air.
yeah,
So
you can't
how-
claim you're a
I
newcomer.
thought it had to be your new
First
that year.
year.
Yeah.
No, isn't it 2?
I thought it was 18 months. But
So
Still
again,
seems-
it's
still
now
seems
it's
rich.
3 years.
Yeah.
We're stretching it a little.
Congratulations to Jackie O, who's also nominated. for
Yeah.
Best Captain
bit. Yeah.
And finally on Triple M in Brizzy, Liesl Jones, who
Big sport name.
Oh.
yeah, she's
Yeah.
won multiple gold records, I think.
And
She's on 3 Olympic golds.
Yeah.
so she knows what winning. She knows what it takes to win
So
the
now
big
that we've all
gong.
gone through the list there, do we all feel the same way that I feel
got a
now?
chance.
I reckon you're honestly you're a good chance, Bill. You've had a good year. You're a genuine newcomer.
Hey, here's a question for you: are you going to prepare a speech?
No.
So what if you do win and you're unprepared?
Just feel authentic, you know? I'd probably cry.
I reckon there's a good chance. So I
If
think
we want, we can write you some gear. Like we can write you
don't
some
want
gags.
gear.
I love it, like Bill, like she just like it went straight to her head, and she's like, "Up yours, Liesl, bitch." Like, she's like, "Hey,
Lauren, you've been on for 3 years.
I'm the greatest.
I
Yeah.
think Brittany and Laura split the Life Uncut vote. I think there's a strong case we made for
Yes.
Loz in Adelaide, but
Yep.
as I can tell you from experience, Adelaide is always pushing it uphill against Sydney
Yes.
and Melbourne for ACRAs because they rate really well, but they probably have 400,000 less listeners than us
Yeah.
just by virtue of the city. Lauren, there's dubious claims about the newcomer status.
Yeah, but will they even, if she's nominated, they clearly don't care about that. They're
And
just like, yeah, cool, she's
Would,
great.
you know, would we make a pact now if Lauren from Jason Lauren wins? Will we rock paper scissors at Ben and one of us will do a Kanye? And go, yeah, Lauren.
God,
you know,
that'd
I'm
be
gonna let
good.
you finish, but you know it's dubious and Belle's a genuine newcomer.
The only
Thank you.
The only reason I wouldn't do that is because we've met her and she's very nice, and I wouldn't
Yeah,
want her to
good
actually
person.
think we're
Yeah.
being nasty.
What if
What about if it was Liesl Jones? We've not met Liesl. We've not met
Never
Liesl.
met her, never
yeah,
met her.
Liesl, I'm gonna let you finish, but you're an Olympian. Belle's a radio person. Yeah.
Yeah, and the final one was Liesl Jones, who
Yeah.
great swimmer, but it's not the Australian
Doesn't
Commercial
matter.
Swimming
They'll look
Awards.
at her figures. They'll look at how they're going as a show.
I think we're going. I think there's a case to be made, Belle. I think
Belle,
it's
how
a
will you
very-
celebrate if you win? What will you do? Will you
Again,
buy a
I'd
car or
cry.
something?
I'd definitely cry. I don't know actually.
It's also weird because we've done it before. We won the award. It's very sobering when you do win and you get up there and you realise no one's listening.
Totally.
So
Nobody
you're like
cares.
crying
It's
in your award.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking.
Even
And in
more-
the scheme of the world,
Yeah.
no one knows what the ACRAs are.
Even
but-
and then they go, we got to move on. We got to get to best provincial library.
Wraps you up.
like growing up though, like a goal of mine in life on my like goal list was win an ACRA.
Well, you've won an ACRA because your name's on the trophy
That is
for
true, but I feel
Ben
like
and Liam's Trap.
I didn't feel like I don't know. I felt like that was so
you didn't
many
get up
more
on stage
people-
for it. It was just we got up
Oh,
on
I
stage for
did.
it.
I
Go up on
don't, I
stage
don't like
for
that
it.
logic. If we win for the Andy Lee thing, I think that's everyone in this room's achievement.
That
and,
one I would
and
feel
others.
like yes. That one I feel.
You
well,
didn't come up on stage with us, did you?
I don't. Oh, I went up
Nah,
to host. No, I went up
I
to
reckon,
the
yeah.
presented the award. Sorry,
That was
what
also
went up.
sobering when no one was listening to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey guys, is this thing on?
No, you know what was sobering is when Carl Sanders just went, "You thanks it." Didn't know who we were or what we were doing.
Yeah,
but
so
great.
so we gave an award to Carl Sanderlands, and then like you have to walk off stage behind the curtain, and then you have to go like out the long way and back around to
He
the
was-
tables.
he was on
He
one,
was
wasn't he?
so gone that he couldn't find the part in the curtain
We were
to
helping
exit.
him
We were
find
helping
his-
him
helping him
find the
find
part
his
in the
way
curtain so we can get in the curtain so we can get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And he was like, "Oh,
yeah.
Well, good luck, Bell.
Good luck,
Yeah,
Bell.
good
All
luck,
the
Bell.
best.
Thanks, you too,
I'm
Andy.
very
And
proud
Is
of
there
you.
everybody.
Very proud
have
of
they
you.
opened it on the Ned's Punters toolbox yet? Can
Yeah.
we load up on Jackson?
Can you create a thing to bet on?
Oh, you can't.
No.
But do we want to have a tickle at odds?
yeah."
What do you mean?
You can.
You can. You can create your own market. You just have to contact the betting agency and say, I'd request a market on this. They do an investigation. They come back
Let's
to you
do
and
that.
present you with
Let's
a
do
list.
that. Yeah.
We
That's
should
so
do that.
ironic.
Put the
though.
entire show budget on Bell, and if you don't
Yeah.
win, it's all on you.
The
Yeah.
annoying thing is, you get, like we said before, it's not a public voted thing, so we can't actually like rally around or anything. You just gotta hope.
It'd also be fascinating for Neds if we opened it up and they did an investigation into it because they're the ones that set the odds. So it'd be fascinating to
odds.
see where they set the
I
odds.
like when we, I don't think it was our difference at Ned's. I think it was another betting agency, but it was like, who's next for the Nova 100 job? And we'd literally
Yeah.
like signed our contracts like we knew.
Yeah.
We would hope, at least they're going to be paying us for the amount of time that we signed
Yeah, it's
for.
weird being on that
but,
side of it.
But we
going,
weren't on the list.
Yeah,
So that's how they get you.
There's about 12 shows and we weren't any of them because they
Yeah.
probably knew that we were the show.
Yeah.
So therefore,
That's
they
how
would-
they
tell
get you.
people how gambling works.
Do you want to have a crack at some odds? I would say as honest
I
as
don't
I can
understand
be.
how this works. So
So it's like the more money it is, the less chance you have.
But out of what?
So I'd say
So
just goes up.
if you were like $11, then that would be your
But like
really
11
far
out of
outside.
what?
Well, you can
Infinity.
go
Like
as
you start
far
with
up.
like
So,
$100.
so if someone's paying $11
Yeah.
and you put $1 on them,
You get
you
$11
win back
back.
$11.
Yeah. So that's like crazy
So
odds.
it's based off what other people are putting on.
No.
kind of, but likelihood. It's
Yeah.
likelihood.
So if someone was paying $1.05 and you put $1 on, you get back $1, which is what you bet, plus 5 cents.
So like
Yeah, but like a dollar out of
Oh
what?
man.
you know.
It's not out of anything.
So you
But
know.
is it like 100 and then it's like
The
a
more
dollar
money-
is like 1%?
The more money, the less likely
Yeah, but like-
it's to
So-
happen.
So,
Like,
so
where's the limit?
you know Collingwood are
Sky's
really
the
good at
limit,
footy.
mate.
Sky's the
Sky's the
limit.
limit.
you know Collingwood's really good at footy, right?
Yes.
And you know West Coast are not good at footy.
Yes.
So if you bet on the premiership next year, Collingwood would maybe be paying a few dollars, and West Coast would be probably paying a few $100.
Yeah, but like where's the limit?
there is no
There's
limit.
no,
no
limit,
limit.
mate. You can go crazy.
I don't get it.
It's
Okay.
very simple.
All right,
It's
well,
very
Barry, you
simple to
bow out of
understand.
this.
I'd say Brittany would be the favourite because she hosted with Kyle when Jackie was
Yes.
away. So I'd
Oh,
say she'd probably be at
yes.
about
Yep.
250.
However, there was
We're all
the
coming
Abby
round to how I
Chatfield
feel.
controversy.
Well, yeah.
I think she'd be about 250. From Laura, a co-host, I think it'd probably be about $3. I think
$3. Where are you getting this figure from?
I'm making
Oh,
pulling out
you
of
know.
my eyes.
no.
Guys, should we finish this, or is it going
No, I want to hear where I stand.
I think Lauren from Jason Lauren would be about $4. I think Bella would be about $5. I think Leeswood Jones would be about $9, and I think Loz would be about 15.
Right, so I'm
Oh,
third last.
I would,
See, I
I would flip. I think
reckon-
Loz would be way less.
I reckon Loz would be around $7. I mean,
Yeah.
like, and purely like that's just purely because it's harder to win things in Adelaide. But I think
It's the Adelaide
she's
thing.
but a great body of work there.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to be talking about betting on?
Well, you can't bet,
Like
so
Chris?
we're making it up. It's
Yeah.
all
It's all fugazi. It's a wazi. It's a woozy. Very does.
Yeah.
All right, is that it?
It's wazi. It's a
Ben
woozy.
doesn't know
Very
what's
does.
going on. Have
I've
you
seen
even
it.
seen it?
Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street.
Doing Wolf of Wall
Okay.
Street.
All right.
Great scene.
Just keep bringing these until one of us passes the out. We're gonna have to bleep
Oh.
that.
Yeah, there was
There
three.
was
Oh, I
two.
said
Yeah,
one.
You said
too.
one.
No, you said
Yeah.
one as well, didn't
I
you?
did not.
No, it
So-
sounded like Andy
It
said
sounded like
one.
you
I
did.
agree.
I reckon two.
I had a moment and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
but
2.5
yeah.
in this podcast, and 1 when the caller said it this morning in the
Ah,
regular
yes.
show
Yep.
podcast.
All right.
Okay,
Blimp.
Blink, blink.